Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Abdul Basit, chemistry teacher, Bagh School, Murid ke. Dear students, in this session we will discuss paper 4 of your mock 2 exams held in March 2020. Let's start question number 1. Question number 1 is about the distillation process. In this question, a student separates propanoic acid having boiling point of 141 degrees Celsius and butanoic acid having boiling point of 164 degrees Celsius using the apparatus shown. In the diagram you can see that this is the flask containing propanoic acid and butanoic acid mixture. This is the condenser, water in, water out, and this is the receiver flask. A part, explain why the receiver flask must be left open. Receiver flask must be left open to prevent building up of gas pressure which might lead to explosion. Question B. First part. What is the reading on the thermometer when the first drops of liquid appear in the receiver flask? That temperature will be 141. Because propanoic acid having a lower boiling point will be liquefied first. Name this liquid. This liquid will be propanoic acid. How does the student know when all of this liquid has distilled over? The temperature will begin to rise again after being constant for a while. C part, suggest a safety item that the student should be used when doing this experiment. He should use safety goggles or safety glasses. Question number 2. Ethanol is a reducing agent. It can be oxidized by heating ethanol with acidified potassium magnate. State the color change of potassium magnate during the experiment. It will change purple or pink to colorless or decolorize. Potassium magnate is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes ethanol and get reduced itself as shown by the color change. B part, ethanol evaporates easily at room temperature because it is a volatile compound, and volatile compounds are those compounds which evaporate at room temperature. It can be used as a solvent to separate dyes in ink. A student uses the apparatus shown to carry out the separation. There are two errors in the diagram. As you can see that in the diagram, this is baseline. It is merged in the ethanol solvent. First question is, name the process used to separate the dyes in ink. This process is known as chromatography. State the two errors in the diagram. First one is this, that there is no lid or cover on the top of the container. As you know that ethanol is a volatile substance. It evaporates at room temperature. During chromatography, all the ethanol will be evaporated from the apparatus and no chromatography will be done. Second error is this, solvent level above baseline. Solvent line is above while baseline is merged in the ethanol. The baseline is immersed in the solvent. If the solvent line is above the baseline, the spot dissolves in the solvent, preventing it to separate, and no observations could be made. As you know, ethanol is a flammable liquid. Suggest one safety measure that the student should take to minimize the risk of using ethanol. No flames in vicinity. No flames should be brought near the workstations where ethanol is being used. Question number 3. Two solids L and M are mixed together. L is soluble in water, M is insoluble in water. How can M be separated from L? Add water to the mixture to dissolve L. Now pass the mixture through filter paper. Solid M is insoluble. It will stay behind in the filter paper. Two samples of a solution of L are put into separate test tubes. Aqueous sodium hydroxide is added to the first test tube and the mixture is warmed. A gas is produced which turns red litmus paper blue. Dilute nitric acid and aqueous barium nitrate are added to the second test tube. A white precipitate is formed. Name both the ions present in L. As you can see in the first test tube that aqueous sodium hydroxide is being added to the first test tube and it is warmed. Damp red litmus paper turns blue. It indicates that ammonia gas is being produced. It will contain ammonium ions. So L will contain ammonium ions. This is the test for sulfate ions that add dilute nitric acid and then aqueous barium nitrate. White precipitate of barium sulfate will be formed. Name both ions present in L. L will contain ammonium ions as well as sulfate ions. A sample of the insoluble solid M is put on into another test tube. Dilute hydrochloric acid is added to the test tube. Carbon dioxide gas is produced. Give a test and observation to identify carbon dioxide. Test: pass the gas through lime water. If carbon dioxide gas is present, lime water will turn milky. Name the negative ion in M. It will contain carbonate ions. D part. Solid M reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to form a solution. Describe a test and observations to show that this solution contains calcium ions. Test should be: add aqueous sodium hydroxide to the test tube. It will produce white precipitates and in excess of sodium hydroxide. White precipitate remains in excess. It is all insoluble in excess. Dear students, this is all about today's session. I thank you all.